just making myself a nice winter waistcoat out of sheepskin. Well, 32 sheepskins to be exact. I make all my own clothes. I do get enjoyment out of it, but I do it mostly because I have to. You see, there aren't a lot of places that sell clothes in my size. In fact, no one does. And not having a wife and all, it's left up to me. I don't really know what I'm going to say. I'm not used to talking about feelings and stuff. I find I get a bit emotional. I dig a bit too deep. So I prefer to keep it to myself. I suppose most of the pain comes from my childhood. I was always a very shy child. I suppose I still am. Shy, that is, not a child. You know, even now I find it difficult to even go into a shop and ask for help. Silly, really. I suppose that's why I ended up living where I do. You know, you may think, what you doing living on top of a giant big beanstalk? But for someone like me, it's perfect. I've got everything I need up here. Birds, the feathered variety, space, clouds, beams. As a kiddie, I never really fitted in. I was always so big, you see. Kept banging my head on doorways for a start. My dad did a nice gesture and he put cat flaps in the top of them. But it was a bit embarrassing, really. Walking around with a constant flap, 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 flapping as I walked through them. People stopped coming round in the end. Guess they got tired of shouting over all the flapping. And then I was going to the bathroom. I mean, how are you supposed to, you know, clean yourself in those tiny little toilets they supply at schools? Start using the disabled toilet in the end. You know, more room for arm movements. Problem is, kids start to think I was crippled. I'd say I would be if I used those puny little things. I had to buy 2 seats at the cinema. Think of the cost, and you ought to see half the films. And planes were a no-no. Not so much that I couldn't fit in them, but because I'd unbalanced them. I couldn't go on theme park rides. Partly because there wasn't leg room, or partly because I couldn't get a buttock in, or they simply were scared that I'd bend the track. I got stuck in a flume once. Yeah. We gone to a water park, and, you know, I was young, and I wanted to do what all the other kids were doing. Let's go on all the scary rides, and there it was. The cannonball. A long, sleek black flume that hurtled you out at like 30 miles an hour or something, dropped you 15 foot and landed in a big bowl of icy cold water. Sounds horrendous now, but I really wanted to do it at the time. So I waited my 20 minutes in the queue. And I got to the mouth of the flume and I thought, oh dear. And I discreetly asked the guy, do you think I'm too big to go in this flume? And he was like, no mate, you get in there, and slapped me on the back. So I thought, oh alright then, I will. So I went in and whoosh, off I went, and at first it was great. Actually, it was fantastic, because not only was it a thrilling ride, but also because I was doing what all the other kiddies did. But then the corner came. And with a loud, sickening, squelching sound, I was stuck. There I lay in the dark, partly panicking, partly embarrassed, and a whole lot of worried for the next poor kiddie's testicles being crushed against my giant forehead as he whizzes effortlessly around the corner. Now, what I'd failed to notice in my panic was that the water pressure behind me was building up. Think Augustus Gloop. So as I thought, right, it's time to call for help, and I twisted around, bam! That was it. The water pressure built up and it shot me out so fast that I almost missed the ball of water altogether. However, I didn't. I hit it so hard that I emptied the pool and drowned 6 people. Okay, so that bit's a bit of a lie. Only 2 people actually drowned. The rest were sent to hospital with minor injuries. Well, thank heavens for small mercies, I say. Still, I wasn't allowed back in that park again.